That's a very UK thing, isn't it? Writing on shirts. I think
thought
that's a
that,
real
yeah,
UK thing.
Because we spent we went through costume in the morning, and they were just sort of like, everyone was just passing whiteboard pens around, and they were just getting everyone to just write on each other's shirts like in real life. Because it's sort of something you can't fake.
Yeah.
You just sort of need to and everyone was drawing all sorts, as you can imagine.
Yeah. One of the projects I think was like, well, I'm sure you'll agree, but we're talking about hometown and stuff. You're from Bolton, right?
Yeah.
Was Red Rose.
Yeah.
That must have been so unique, because what are the chances that like quite a big project, it's now on Netflix, if we could pull it up, Red Rose, you moved to Manchester, and then you ended up doing like such a big project in your hometown.
Yeah, it's sort of nice that stuff like that gets acknowledged, and I think when Michael and Paul, the writers, they were really like pressing for this idea of
Exams are up.
oh, there we go.
There we are.
There it is.
Yeah, we'll watch a little bit.
Yeah.
I just got the trailer.
Yeah, that's sick.
Classic, going back on.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, so they were like really adamant about sort of pushing this thing, because you sort of see like all these Netflix dramas. And it's like what England it should be, and sort of this like picturesque. Like, look.
Could
at
you give a
set.
brief description of like what it's like, just like a synopsis of it? Like,
Yeah. So it follows Red Rose, which is this app, and it's
Yeah.
sort of like mysterious, so that downloads onto people's phones.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I've not spoken about this in a while, so it's gonna have to take a minute. But it's sort of, I don't know. It's like it plays with you and sort of toys with you like mentally.
Right.
And it's sort of like it's like a viral app that sort of goes around and just starts causing havoc, really.
Yeah.
And it's a group of friends, and they sort of take it upon themselves to figure out why this thing's going around, because something happens to them early on in the series.
Yeah.
So they sort of go on this like mission to crack on and
it felt
get
very
down.
Black Mirror when I watched it.
Yeah.
But that's why it was so like, it reminded me of like the first season of Black Mirror, because it was in a British scene, but once again one of those things where it can also be sold to like an American audience, would you say?
Definitely. I think that it's toying with this like horror like concept, and I know they said they took like inspiration from The Ring. You know, using The Ring, like where the stuff comes out the screen and stuff. And there's like a really similar scene where I think Rochelle is in a church, and there's a scene where she's like watching it on her phone, and her like mum, who's passed away, sort of is like in the back of the thing, and it's really haunting. It's like it's an awful scene to watch, but like it's stuff like that, and it's sort of this idea of like, especially now with AI, and stuff like that, it's sort of toying with the idea of like how if one of these things, if someone wrote a similar code to this, and there has been really similar things in real life, like what are the sort of impacts on society, and I think that's
like teenagers.
Yeah,
I mean that's mainly who it affects,
it,
right?
Yeah,
like
it's a proper like
anything with this. Like,
hardcore little character study of what sort of the impact on society and sort of friendship and stuff.
I mean, there's an AI story I actually want to talk about a bit later as well. It seems like a really big thing right now. Well, they're talking about there's ways of even kids. You know, they're saying, oh, teachers can detect when you've used the chatbot to like write an essay or something. There's another website which you can put it through, which somehow decodes
Scrambles
that.
it again.
Like, I don't know what's going on right now.
How
do schools even know if a kid's wrote anything? Like, I don't know.
I genuinely have never used any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just find it weird that all of a sudden like everything's sort of AI done. Like we were talking about it the other day on set, and we were saying like they've started to sort of like use AI for storyboards and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one person have a job straight away. Storyboard artist gone. Then it's like, oh well, sort of then you could place a camera anywhere, sort of in like a virtual space, and then you've lost your cameraman. And it's sort of like creatively, like everyone's just getting replaced by this sort of intelligence. It's like we're all going to be out of jobs soon, and it's a bit
lot
weird.
of the clips you see on TikTok now, you know, the subtitling and the cutting.
That's what I mean.
AI.
That's an editor's job gone straight away.
Yeah,
like it just literally throws it through the system, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. Should we give this Red Rose? Is there any particular bit that which you'd like to watch, or that's a cool like bit of it? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys would see it. How well? What's the feedback from this? Like, what came of it? Like, what did people think of the show?
A bit weird, to be fair, because it sort of came out in August last year.
Yeah.
And that was on BBC Three, so it got dropped straight onto iPlayer, and it was sort of like a bit of a slow take up. I think when stuff gets put on iPlayer, it just sort of sits there for a while. Nobody really knows about it, and then when it went on Netflix, it just sort of was like wow, and it just sort of blew up. But there's some stuff in the trailer which is from episode 1, and it's like the opening sequence, which is like a party on a hill.
Oh yeah.
And that was just
that one.
There you go.
That one, yeah.
Exams are over. Then we'll be in college.
Greetings all.
Where were we? Getting
Not you there.
inebriated, I believe. gone up together. No more.
That's a very UK thing, isn't it? Writing on shirts. I
I
think that's
thought
a
that,
real
yeah,
UK thing.
Because we spent sort of like, we went through costume in the morning, and they were just sort of like, everyone was just passing whiteboard pens around, and they were just getting everyone to just write on each other's shirts like in real life. Because it's sort of something you can't fake. You just sort of need to just, and everyone was drawing all sorts, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was that going back to film that?
It was really weird because it's like I said, there's an element of like travel with work and stuff. And with that, it was sort of like wake up and then just sort of stroll into town.
Yeah.
And I live quite close to the town centre anyway. So it was that's where like the main base was for quite a lot of the shoot. So it was sort of just like wake up at a reasonable time, stroll to work, have breakfast at base, and then sort of we'd travel into like, wherever we were shooting that day. But that like opening sequence that we just seen, that was shot in Huddersfield. So there was proper big like, elements of it and stuff which weren't even shot in Bolton. But, and that was an absolute nightmare because we literally did about I think near 5 days at the end.
Yeah.
Because we did 1 day first, someone got COVID, so we had to scrap it. We did another day, and then like the storm just came out of nowhere. And this is meant to be like a summer's day rave. Like it's meant to be like end of exams.
Oh right.
It's like July time. We've just finished GCSEs. And yeah, it was literally awful because this cloud just came over. It's like batting down with like hailstone and stuff. So we were sort of like just grabbing like bits of kit, and all the crew were like trying to hide stuff under like bin bags. Absolute nightmare. And then as you can see, it's on top of the moors.
Yeah.
So then we had to get down. But because it was so wet, like everyone was just falling and sliding and stuff.
Shit.
Absolute nightmare.
Can we try get a frame of Lewis there? Just to kind of give it. I think it's further in, right, Lewis?
There's a few. It's all that drone
It's like
stuff.
when they're pieing, we'll see you. But yeah, no, that's really cool, man.
Isn't that you there?
Probably, I don't know.
I think if you just.
But this
go
was the thing,
further-
because we did so many days on it, like it's just a proper mishmash of
Yeah.
everything we shot.
It's like a.
And we'd go to like reshoot stuff.
Oh,
but it
there's like
wasn't-
the app there.
There
Yeah,
you go, yeah.
it's cool. No. Yeah, does AI scare you at all? Like, do you feel like, does it scare, like when you hear AI,
Yeah.
are you looking forward to the future of the world or not?
I think like it's something like we joked about a couple of years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's like I always sort of saw it as like something like Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? Like a Tony Stark sort of thing. And then the fact that it's actually real now, I think is actually a bit terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that these things can just write like I said, essays and
Yeah.
all this dodgy stuff, it's been mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck.